All right. So this week what we're going to do is sort of like what we did in the previous lab series, but we're actually going to start a new lab series in WordPress again, just because WordPress and CMSs in general have become kind of the standard as far as like web design is concerned. You do need to know HTML and CSS and JavaScript and all that other stuff because it allows you to create more really allows you to like get into it and to customize things and make it, exactly what you want. Otherwise, whatever you're given is what you would be dealing with. But what we're going to do is we're going to be using the Divi theme, and the Divi theme is actually what my site is currently made out of. To put that into perspective, so if you like the way my site looks, or not, that's how it's made. It's actually made. Well, now it's like struggling. It's actually made with the Divi theme itself. I have a Divi theme, and then I have a child theme on top of that theme that allows me to do. I'm trying to see if there's anything in here that I did that was special, but it allows me to like write special things where, like, if I have interactive components or like when you see code written a certain way, like that's because I made a child theme that rides on top of Divi, so it gives me. It's not completely Divi vanilla, but you'll see that when you start working in it, you'll be like, oh, that's just like what Cone Site is. Well, that's what it is. So, anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using the Divi theme for this last lab series. And honestly, you may have noticed, but basically this class, like my other web design class, it actually starts out harder and gets easier as time goes by. So you're going to find Divi to be even easier than what we did in the last lab series. So this actually should be pretty simple. And actually, even today, we're going to keep it pretty light. More or less, just going to be setting it up, getting it going. And then next class, we'll start to dig in and do more with it. Okay, so Divi theme. So what is the Divi theme? Divi theme is basically made by Elegant Themes. If you go to elegantthemes.com, you can visit it right here. You can read all about it if you want. But basically it's sort of a high-end theme. If you know how you can go on the Blackboard and you can download a bunch of themes for free, right? But they're usually very limited. Often the free ones will have a paid version that's like the pro version. And if you look, the costs range from anywhere from like 10 to 50 bucks, right? The Divi theme is like $200, I think, something like that. I actually bought it for my own personal site, so this is my own Divi theme. But I also had the school purchase it so that you guys can use it. But basically, it's an expensive theme, but it's sort of become the high end, like this is the primo, like considered sort of the best in the industry as far as WordPress is concerned. For themes, it's kind of the go-to. It's very malleable, you'll see, and it's responsive, and it's sort of what the industry what sites look like. It sort of standardizes that sort of look and stuff. Okay, so it's made by Elegant Themes. You can pay a subscription, or you can pay for it outright. Now, I'm going to give it to you via Blackboard. I'm not going to post it on my site because I'm not allowed to distribute it. I had talked to them when I had the school purchase it, and I'm like, hey, if we buy this theme, can I give it to the students? And they said that was fine. However, you're not allowed to, let's say you make something you really like and you're really happy with your site, you're not allowed to upload that because you don't own Divi, okay? The school does, and we're only using it for educational purposes. Now, if you like it and you want to upload it, just go either purchase the subscription or buy it outright, either way. I think they have like a yearly subscription, and it's not that bad. I forget how much it is. I just bought it outright because I didn't want to deal with having to pay a subscription. So anyway, that's more or less what the deal is with that. Okay, so if you actually go on Blackboard, if you look underneath, so we'll be on week 11 here, and if you go underneath the assignment here, right? You can also go assignments here, but you'll see the assignment, but then you'll see resources. You'll see download Divi theme here. So it's right here. So just click on that. And what it's going to do is it's going to, hopefully, there you go. You're going to save it. It's going to be a zip file. Okay. So just save that. And then you'll have the Divi theme. And it's just going to be, don't unzip it though. It has to stay as a zip file. All right. Okay. So we did that. All right. And then what we're going to do is I'm just going to kind of show you the way we're going to go about doing it. Okay, so We're just going to do this process. We're going to use local by flywheel again. We'll create a new site. We're going to install and activate the Divi theme and any other plugins we might need. Set up the general defaults and then the theme defaults and so on and so forth. Okay. So here we go. So we're going to make a new site. So we're in local. Just open local up and make a new site. And we'll just call this Divi theme site. And this, if you want to have it saved to a specific location, just go down here, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to have it saved to the folder that saves everything. Again, we can just leave it on preferred. I don't really, I trust their, I think they always put the most stable version right here. So I think we're good with that. And then the password should always be just so that I know what it is and you know what it is. Because when you submit it, I want to be able to look at it. It's VCP for the username and VCP for the password. Okay, that way I'm able to get into it. And then we'll hit add site, and I'm going to pause my video while it does this because my computer is slow. And then yeah, we'll continue on in a second. All right, so get out of the way here. There we go. Okay. Oh, I thought it finished. There's like a thing that pops up, so I can't see what's on my screen. But don't forget, obviously, when you go to install it, it's going to ask for administrator, like the OK. Just because when you install the theme, the sites, it has to get into like the inner workings of your computer. So should be done by now. It's taking a while. Come on. Just waiting. There it goes. Okay. So now it's made the site. It says Divi theme site. That's great. I like to just do admin and view site just so I can see what it looks like and see what the other thing is. So I'm going to click on view site. It's going to pop open over here. All right. Hang on. Good. Put that here. And then I'm going to click on admin as well. And that's going to pop there. Okay. And now we're good to go. Again, it is VCP, tab VCP, and login, and sure. Just also, you know, when you do make a site, if you ever do upload it, make sure that you change the password. I was working locally on actually this site, like an earlier version of the site that we're using now, and I was using something stupid. I had the same username and the same password, and then I uploaded it, and I like totally forgot that I did that. Might have been one of the reasons why I got hacked. So, yeah, make sure that you change that and make it like super secure. I know usually you want to have your, you know, whatever you're doing on the internet, you want to have secure passwords, but it's particularly important because you're going to find that your site it's out there all the time. It's constantly vulnerable. It's not something where you're making particular choice, you know, purchases and you're just putting in your numbers this one time. It's always live. So it's always ready to be hacked. So just make sure that you do use a very secure password on your own sites in the future. Okay. So first thing I want to do basically is just go ahead and install that theme. So I'm going to go to Appearance, Themes. And what we want to do is we want to add a new one. So we'll hit Add New. But instead of searching for them like we usually do, you can't get Divi in here. I don't believe you can. I don't think. You actually have to get it from their website. So that kind of tells you something about it as well. So we're going to upload the theme that we downloaded earlier. So we'll browse. Now mine's right on the desktop. Yours probably be underneath your downloads. So there it is, divi.zip, open, and install now. And that's going to unpack it. Hopefully. Is it doing it? Oh yeah, it's doing stuff. So that's going to install it. And then obviously after that, we will activate it. And okay, return to, oh, there's activate right there. Whoops. All right, well, I'll just activate it here. Where are you? There it is. Activate. Now, as with all themes that you have, if you click on them, you'll get like details about it. That if you want to read about it, you can. Welcome to Divi. Before diving in, please search the Divi documentation. Also, if you do go to elegantthemes.com, they do have great resources that are like, so like live builder demo. They have all these resources where they actually will show you different aspects of it. I mean, this is honestly how I learned how to use it, was looking at this stuff here. It's very slow today. You'll get used to this little icon, because this is like the icon they have for everything that you make. You start to hate it, kind of like how you hate the whirly ball of death in on a Mac, that little rainbow ball. Not liking that one. Let's get rid of you. So let's just do Divi, about Divi. Divi, try it for free. Well, if you go through it, you'll find that you can actually, they'll actually show you how to use what all the different modules are and what they all do. Let me see. Lens pricing, that's not what I wanted. Divi Marketplace. Nah, whatever. Okay. So we have the Divi theme installed, so that's great. Yay! Now what you're going to notice is that when you install the Divi theme, it actually is installing two things. I don't know if it's actually going to show up as a plugin or not. Let me just double check. Oh, it doesn't show up as a plugin. Okay. But what it does is it actually installs Divi, the theme, and also Divi, the Divi Builder, which is their way of creating the site. So you know how we used Elementor in the last lab series? Divi Builder is basically the same thing, but it's nicer. It's got more options and stuff. Elementor has more options as well if you do the Pro version, but it's got a ton of options, and it's better than Elementor overall in general. I think, objectively. Okay. So from here, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna set up kind of the basic things first that we normally do when we're inside of here. I'm just gonna go ahead and for the plugins, I like to just install this one because it's useful to me. I'm just going to hit add new, and I'm just going to put that duplicate post because I kind of need that in order to duplicate stuff. I don't know why it's not on by default. You would think it would be. Duplicate page, install. And activate. Great. Okay. Now let's just go down and let's just do some of our settings. So let's go to settings. Let's just do general. And same stuff as before. So let's change the site title to, let's just make it Divi Theme Site. I'll probably change what the thing is and be like, learn about Divi! Exclamation point, right? So that's obviously, that's the thing that shows up here. Right now it says Divi Theme Site, just another WordPress site. That's what this is, and that's what that is. I don't understand time zones, but whatever we are, you put there. Okay, so save changes, that's good. And I don't think we need to do anything with that yet. Okay, so let's go to the Divi theme options. So you'll see that Divi actually added its own thing here. And we're just going to set up some things here as well. Some of it might overlap a little bit with the previous thing. So if we have a logo, we can put a logo here. I don't currently have a logo. I will. I'm not going to try and include any images this week. I'll do that next week if we want to. But basically, such as you see with my site, I'm just going to keep using mine as an example because I think it's easiest. You see I have the logo here. That's where that came from. I put it inside of here, and then it will put it where it needs to as far as menus and stuff are concerned. Fixed navigation bar, we either want it enabled or not. So you'll see when let me go to a class. Let's go to like this one. You'll see basically when you scroll down, you see how the nav bar stays there. So whether we want that fixed or not, we'll go ahead and leave that on for now. Enable Divi Gallery. Sure, why not? Color pickers, default palette. Okay, so what this is basically when you go into the site itself, let's enable Visual Builder. I never set this up for mine, actually. I should have set that up because that would have been helpful for my color management. Yeah, I'll just tell you. Basically what it does is that when you go to choose colors, these will be like default swatches. And so what you can do is set up your color scheme right here, and then these will be readily available, so you don't have to like type in the hex code every time for what it is that you have. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about this right now. Grab the first post image, disable, that's fine. Blog post, block style mode, we don't want. Sidebar layout, there's right sidebar or left sidebar. We're not going to use that anyway, but there that is, that's fine. Use Google Fonts, we do want that. You remember doing fonts.google, all the fonts there will be available. Show Instagram icon, I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use Twitter, I'm not going to use Facebook. I don't need any of that business. We can leave that on. Facebook, URL, we're not including any of these other formats here. Use excerpts, responsive shortcodes, sure. Google font subsets, nah. Back top button. You know, there'll be a button on the bottom you can click on, and it says go back to top. You click on it and it brings you right to the top. I'm not going to turn that on. Enable responsive images. I do want that enabled. That just means that the images will scale, which I do want. Minify and combine JavaScript, and minify and combine CSS files. So when they say minify, what they mean by that is you'll see non-minified and minified, and basically normally the way we write code, right? We write it in a way that like all of our stuff or all of our code is like tabbed in, and all of the variable names all have like names that represent what they are, right? Like we'll say header, and then that means the header for the ID, and then it's all written in a way that is very easy for you or I to read. When they minify the code, what they'll do is they'll take all of the variable names and just make them random, like collections of letters, like 3D, FG, and then that'll be, well, it won't be 3D because you can't start with a number, but you get the idea. It'll be a variable name, but it's just random variable names, and then they'll take all the code, and instead of like hitting enter for every new line of code, it'll just go straight across, and it'll just be one big block with no spaces, nothing in it. It's all just a big conglomerate of code. If you ever try to open up a minified CSS or JavaScript, you'll see what I'm saying. And you might be like, well, that's not good because obviously it's not as readable. So when you're working on the code, you would want to have the nicely written code. The minified version, though, what that will do is it makes it harder for someone to steal your code. So that, like, because they won't understand what the variable names are, because the variable names have all been shortened to things that are just random and easy for the computer to read. So they won't be able to decipher what you wrote. And then also it's not like indented and written in a human way. So they'll have difficulty stealing what it is that you did if there's things that you wanted to keep. And also, and this is kind of the main reason why they're doing it here, is that it also makes it run faster, because now the computer doesn't have to like go to new lines. The computer will actually read the code in a quicker way by it being minified. We can add some custom CSS here. I'm not going to use any of that anyway. Let's see. Navigation. Oh, I didn't hit save, did I? Disabled. Okay, no, it kept it. Okay. Navigation. So exclude pages from navigation bar. So the sample page. Yeah, drop down menus enabled. So obviously, like if you look at mine, I have drop down menus. Whether you want that or not. Display home link is enabled. That's all fine. Oops, there's categories. I don't think we really need any of this stuff. No. Builder, enable Divi Builder on post types, post pages, and projects. That's fine. That's all fine. Layout, choose which items to display in the posts. We don't really care about any of that anyway. Place thumbs on pages, show comments up. You don't need any of that. Don't need that. We're not doing any ads. I'm not going to worry about SEO at the moment, but this would basically be a way of stuffing our website with like keywords so that the SEO would read those and hopefully make it, move up in the search engine. But I'm not gonna worry about that right now. Integration, enable header code, enable body code, single top, blah blah blah. So you can actually add code to the head of your site and to the body, which is pretty cool. They can give you a footer one though. Yeah, the rest of this is fine. Okay, so let's hit save changes. Save changes. Did it do it? Okay. Yay. Okay. Now it has these other options as well here. I am going to let's go to pages. I'm gonna leave that alone for right now. Let's go to pages. All right, so we have these 2 pages here, which are kind of crummy. So let's add new. It's going to say, welcome to the block editor. Yay. Okay. They kind of switched to a new system, but when you do add a new one, you just want to go ahead and use the Divi builder. And this is actually going to bring you to the front end. And I'm just going to quickly just write some general stuff in there, and then that way we have something to work with so we can see it, but I'm not as concerned about it. Okay. And if you want to, you can take a tour, but we'll just start building. All right. We'll just start building. So what you can do is you can actually, they do have a clone one. You can actually use pre-made layouts. So one of the things that I really like about it personally is that I can set up a layout of a page that I like, or even a section of a page that I like, and I can save it to a library. And that's why you might have saw that library thing. And then I can use that again and again and again. So I can kind of like set up something that works for me and then use that later on. So that's why there's the pre-made layouts, but we're not going to do that. They also have ones that you can use. So the way it works is that you have sections, rows, and then modules. So let's see, let's do exit visual builder. I'll show you here. Oh, I have it here. Okay, come on, you can move. Here we go. So when you are designing the site, what you're going to do are set up these sections. And so basically a section would be just a bunch of content, and then so there'd be one whole section, and then in that section you can have a row, just like we had rows when you do Bootstrap, and then you can choose how many columns are in that row, and each column will have modules in it, right? So here's here's the row that would go inside of it, and then inside of that row you have these modules, and those modules can be different things. They can be text, they can be images, they can be sliders, they can be links, they can be all sorts of different things, right? And there's a bunch of modules that are built into this, and you can also purchase some as well. And then, you end up with a final result. And if you look at my site, you can actually tell what my sections are, right? So I have this top section here, right? So see, it's white. So what I do is that every other section, I just make a light one and a dark one, a light one and a dark one. And I have those saved in a library. So here's the light section. Then I have a dark section. You can see this is all one section, right? And then I have another white section, a light section that I made. See how it's blue here? And then this is a row. And then this is a row. Come on. Yep. Okay. Well, I guess it's not gonna. And then after this is another section, and this is a dark section. So I usually do a light, dark, and that's how I break it up. But you don't have to do it necessarily this way, but that's kind of the way it works, and that's what they're trying to have us do. I think it's going slow because we're running multiple ones at the same time here. So, okay, so first thing I'm going to do is ask you to make a row or column. So I'm just going to do a row that has one column in it, and then I can choose what I want it to be. And I'm just going to go ahead, and these are your options, so you can try looking at them if you would. You can look at them if you would like, but most of the time it's going to be text or it's going to be images, right? So I'm just going to type in images, and you can see images right there. And I'm not going to upload anything yet. I'm just going to put that there, and we'll call that good. Okay, so there's an image. So I have this one section here, and then what I can do is I can add another row to it. So let's add another row. This time I'm just going to go ahead and do 4. And I'm going to do text, not text, but text. Okay. And I'm just going to say okay. And then to add another thing, all you got to do is you go over the gray ones. So basically sections are blue. This whole big thing is a blue, okay? And then rows are green. And I just click on this to make a new row, and that will make a new row, and then I can choose how many columns. And then the gray, that is the different module. So I'll add a new module. And I'm just going to do another text. Okay, and we'll get into this in a second. All right. Now, if I want to just use this one again over here, you'll notice that whenever you hover over it, it gives you a menu. Okay. So I can hover over it, and then this is the menu here. So if I click on this, this will delete the section, which I don't want to do because it's the only section I got, really. So that will delete the section. Okay, come on, get back here. That will delete the section. This will save it to the library, and that's useful, like I said before. So I saved a dark section and a light section that just has generic stuff in it, and then every time I start a new section, I just choose the light or the dark one, and that's how I did my site. This will duplicate the section, and then this will bring up the section settings, which every time we've been making a new module, it's been popping open the settings. So like if we go to the settings on this section, you'll see that it has all these different, options. The section is a little bit more limited compared to other things. So we'll come back to that. But that's what those items are. And the rows have the same thing, right? So I can delete a row, I can save the row. It has this one, this will be how many columns. So you remember when we first started, so if I wanted it to be 2 columns instead of the 1 column it is, I can choose that, and it has all these pre-made ones. Okay, so if I clicked on this, you're gonna see it's gonna now make that 2 columns. And if I click on this again, this row, I'm just gonna make it back to 1 column. Now it's 1 column, all right? So here, I'm just gonna click on this to duplicate it. That will duplicate it, and then the little arrows here, this allows you to move it. So if I go over here, I can put it, come on, get underneath there. I can put it underneath this one. See? Let's go back over here, or I can bring it over here. Come on, and drop it. And then I'm just going to duplicate it again by clicking on that button. And click and drag, and drop it. And boom, now I got 4 of those moving along. So we'll call that the first section, and I'll call that good enough. Let's go ahead and make a new section. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this. That'll make a new section. Now you're gonna see that when we make a new section, we can add from library, but you see that we don't have any saved. We haven't done any of those yet, but I can show you that later. There's the regular, which basically means like what we already have up here. There's specialty, where you can have it so it's like, so that it's got weird line up. So you'll notice that everything usually lines up real straight and linear, and like it's like this. This has different options where it'll allow you to like have things like stacked in a not normal way. Honestly, I never really used that. And then full width basically goes all the way across. So you know how when we do bootstrap, you can choose either the content or the container or container fluid. And container is the one that has, it looks like this, where it has the gaps on the side. So this one is like container. See how there's these big open areas, right? So that's regular. Full width goes all the way across. Okay. So right now, this one's regular. So let's do full width just to try it out. So you can see full width will have different options. So it doesn't have the same stuff as the other one. So let's do full width header. And then it's got basically a call to action. So it says title goes here. I don't really care. We're going to say okay. And I'll hit the little okay button. And I'm just going to move this whole thing above the other one. So let's go up here. Hopefully when I drop it, I didn't see a purple line. I'm hoping it will. There it goes. Okay. So you can see this is going all the way across. So now we have this section here. And then I have this section here. Notice this one's purple because it's a full width one. Let's go ahead and just add another section. Let's just do a regular one this time. And I will do, let's do a 2 and 2. And let's do a blurb. Okay, which basically is like a card. If you remember cards from Bootstrap, where it's an image and then just text underneath it. That's what the blurbs are, which is pretty cool. And we'll hit OK. And then I'm going to click on this guy over here. And let's try. I'm just trying to do a bunch of different ones with you. We'll probably just throw this away, but I want you to see what they are. Let's see. Well, let's do the slider. So we'll do a slider. Hopefully. Good. And what the slider does is that now we can add multiple images. So basically it's just the carousel or slider or slideshow or whatever you want to call it. That's what that is. And we'll hit OK. All right. Now, we do have different sections, but you can see there's nothing really dividing one from the other. Like this one has some stuff going on, but these ones don't look as different as I would like, right? So what I can do is maybe go to the settings of either this one or this one. Let's go to this one's settings, and I'm just going to hit the settings button. And then you can see we have some options here. So I'm not going to use the link here. We could change the background color. Now, remember in the beginning I said, oh, they have the swatches. So these are the default swatches that were already there. So if I had like a consistent background color I wanted to use, I'd want to adjust it, put that in that one thing, and then it would be the same. It would look like that here. You can also apply a gradient or an image or a video. Okay, and that would be the background of what you have here. So let's just go ahead and I'm just going to add a background color. And let's, okay, that went away. Didn't mean to do that. I want to go more, I don't know. Do whatever color makes you feel good. We'll go with that. Whatever. Okay, so now there's more of a clear difference between the two. All right. Now, maybe I want to add some other settings just to kind of help this be separate. So I'm just going to do a lot of things I did on my own site. So I'm going to click on this, on the one above its settings. Okay. So we just did background color in the previous one, which I could do here. But if you go to the design tab, it's basically going to give you all the stuff that you can normally code with CSS. So you're going to see show inner shadow. So we could turn that on. And let's see, is it? I'm not really seeing. Is it doing it? I don't really see it. So I guess we won't do that. I can change the sizing, so we can change the max width of it. So you can see, I'm just going to leave that. I'm just going to delete that, and that way it'll be auto. Change the alignment, the height, all of that stuff. So basically, all this stuff that you normally would be able to write in CSS will show up here. Okay. So I'm going to do box shadow. And then on this one, I'm on this one right here. I'm going to do this. And what that's going to do is see now add a little bit of a shadow right there. And it will add a little bit of shadow here. And I feel like that just helps separate it and gives it a sense of almost like dimension. So like this is above and then the next one, like this one's below it. And then this one's below it. And then what I would do is I could do another one of these and have that one again have that same box shadow. Okay. And we can adjust the settings here of how strong we want it. So the horizontal position, the vertical position, I am just going to leave it at 0. The blur strength, the spread strength. So if you want it to be stronger, but I think the default looks pretty good. Yeah, so that's just the settings here. Now the advanced allows you to write some classes as well as write some custom CSS onto it if you feel like you want to do it. I don't think that's really honestly the best way to go about doing it, because the problem is if you do that in here, let's say I want to use this element again, I'd have to write that CSS again and again and again for every one of them. And then let's say I want to change my design, I'd have to go back to all of the ones that have that. So you should only use this in a special case. Now, if you wanted to add a CSI class or ID, I think that would be fine, because then what you could do is either use a child theme or use a use the Divi. They had the section where you could write your CSS in the theme settings in the dashboard. You could use that, but I would not write the custom CSS directly in there. Okay, and then you can see there's these other aspects as well. Okay, so scroll effects. Yeah. Okay, so we'll say okay. So that looks a little bit better. I'm just trying to get you guys used to how the system works here, and then next class we'll go into more of like what the modules and stuff are and what they do, because obviously like this text has got to get changed, so on and so forth. So let's do this too over here. I'm going to take this and let's save this section to the library, because we'll just say that this is good. So I'm going to click on this, and we're going to add the library, and we'll just say we're going to call this a light section, okay? And then we can make it a global item or not. Okay, so we're not going to make it a global item. So and we'll add create a new category too. So we'll just say sections. Okay, so that way, like if I make another kind of section, I'll put that also in that category section. What the global does is this. This is actually really handy, and I've used it on my site as well. So right now I have this as a light section, right? If I save this as this light section, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this, leave the global off, and then I'll show you. Save to library. Be easier to show than to tell. It's actually not that complicated, but okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here, and I want to add another section, and I just want to add that other section. So I'm going to go add from library, and then you'll see, oh, why are you not all categories? Should have showed up. I don't know if maybe I have to save the page first. There it is, light section. Okay. So I'll choose light section, and you're going to see it's going to be a duplicate of this section. Okay. Now, here's the reason why you don't want to use global. What global does is this. If I were to instead, well, I'll do it on the next one so you can see. Let's take this one. I'm going to save this one, right? Oh, crap. I hit the settings. Oh, thank you. So we'll save to the library, and we'll call this aquamarine. I don't know if that's one word. Marine section. And let's make this one a global. And then, why is it saying create new section? Sections. I think I needed to save the page, and then it would. It's going to be a little confused when we go to do the other stuff, but we'll just leave it like that. Okay, so I'm saving this to library. I made this one a global. Now, what I want you to notice is this. I'm going to go down here. Hopefully it works. I don't know if it's going to work because we're in the same page right now. Add from library. All categories. Come on, give it to me. Nope, don't want that. Okay, let's close that out. I'm just going to to save the page, you click on this little purple thing, and you can see you can trash the page. You can go back in time. You can do the settings, the general settings on the page. I'm just going to go ahead, and this isn't even published, so let's publish it. I think because it's not published, our sections that in the library are not saving, is my guess. Okay. Oh, I also want you to notice that, let me see, if I go up here, oh, see, that didn't do it. Hang on a second, let me see. Oh, let's see if it's saved or not. I'm not sure. Okay, hit plus. Add from library. I don't think it's saved. Let's try it again. I don't think I saved it. So let's hit save, and we'll call this aquamarine section. Make it a global, and maybe because we called it sections, we'll call it like other section. And we'll hit save to library. Maybe now it'll work. It might have been because we named it sections, and the other one was also named sections, so it was trying to create a new category where there already was one. I don't know. Let's see if this is being a little weird. Okay. Add from library, all categories. Yep. Come on. I don't want help. Why are you not? Oh, wait, there it goes. Just slow. There we go. So there's my aquamarine one. Now, notice that this one's green. That means something. So when I go up here, this should also be green. There you go. See how it's green? So what that means is this. Watch what happens if I go up here, and I'm just going to change something about this. So let's take this section or we'll take this section, and I'm just going to add something to it. And we'll just do a circle counter. Never used that before, so let's see what that looks like. Whatever. That's fun. Okay. Now, if I scroll down here, what do you notice? It's also on this one. So basically the idea is that whatever you do to this one, any other sections that's a global item, all the other ones will also have that done to them. Okay. So it's handy, but most of the time you probably don't want to use globals. Because if there's an instance of it where you want to make this one a little bit different, then you might not want to do that. So where I use that on my site is that at the very top of the first class in all of my sites, I have my introduction where I say, oh, my name is blah, 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 and this is like stuff about me. I save that as a global item because that way it populates, and it has like my office hours and all that other stuff. That way it's across all of them. And for some reason, like let's say I'm like, oh, you know what? I can't do these office hours. I can change one of them and all the other ones will change too. And that way I don't have to go to each and every one of them. So it's handy in that regard. But global is not always something that you want to do. Now I did that for a whole section. We saved them to our library. But you can also do that for other things. So like for instance, I could do that with a row. I can click on this and I can save this row and I can make it as a global item, right? You can also do it on the modules themselves. I can go to here and you can see, again, I can save this as an item. So if there's like a specific, like, oh, I want to put this quote in all of mine. And then if for some reason I misquote, I can change it in there. All right. And you can access all of these outside of this as well. I can show you that later. But that's how you save things to the library in order to, you know, in order to access them later on. All right. So, let's see. Yeah, so hopefully you're getting the idea. Basically, you add a section and then you automatically it'll ask you to make a row because you have to have a row in the section, and then you kind of go on one from the other. There's page settings if you want to change anything about the page. I don't usually do anything with this, but so it has a very global, it has a very like broad to specific where you have the whole page, then you have sections, then you have rows, and then you have modules. Okay. And that's basically the way it's very similar to working in Bootstrap, but you can see all the stuff is already kind of clean and set up and you know, has this sort of thing going on with it. Now let's just concentrate on just one of these text boxes, just because that's kind of a real common thing. So I'm going to go to the settings to this particular, this box here, okay? All right. What you're going to get when you go to the settings, you're going to notice too, just so you are aware, the settings are going to be different depending on what module you click on. Like this one will have certain settings. This one will have certain settings. You know what I mean? It changes, okay? So all the modules will have different ones. And we can go through what some of those are, but I just want to do this one text one just so you can see what they are. So I'm just going to expand a little bit. Okay, so inside of here, you have all the things that you normally would have. So like, let's say in here, I just want to do a title, right? So I'll just put title. So what I can do is click and drag over that. And then instead, I can change this to, let's make it a heading 2. And now let's make it a heading 3. Okay. So now I have a heading 3, and then this is paragraph, and I can change anything about these. So like I can grab this and be like, you know what? It's I don't like this lighter gray. I can click and drag it, and then go to where's the color? And go to text color and be like, I want it like pure black, and that will make it. Let me move this over so you can see it. That'll make it pure black in there. You know, all the stuff that you would typically see, right? If you want to make a bullet list, I could go here, make a bullet list, and go, yup, enter. Yep, enter. Yep, enter. Okay. And they have the numbered lists. You can insert links, special characters, yada, yada, yada. Now, the other thing that's nice is if you go here, I can go to text, and that's the actual code. So if for some reason, like you're trying to put in the stuff and it's just not looking the way that you want, you know HTML, right? And you know CSS, so you can manually write your own HTML and CSS in here. And you can see they're even doing it here. They're just writing. This is why I teach you guys how to do the inline stuff. Because inline when you're hard coding is not very useful, but inline CSS is actually very useful when you're doing web stuff, or CSS, WordPress stuff, because it's kind of your only way of like micromanaging if you need to, like, on this particular one, make it a certain way. Okay. So we have that set up. So that's what these two do. Now you can add a link so that when you click on it, it goes somewhere. We're not really going to do anything with that. You can add a background image or background color. So let's just make the background yellow. Right now it's yellow. Or I could do a gradient, or I could do an image, and that would just be an image that goes behind it. And I don't really need anything with that. Okay, and this has the same kind of design elements that you saw before. Now, unlike the other one, you'll see that this does have heading, text and heading. So the text will really let you micromanage, and you can go through here. I suggest doing it in this section on the content if you want to do any adjustments, just from experience, because sometimes when you do it in here and you do it underneath this thing, which obviously has a lot more settings, and if there's something that you're not getting in the one, it's harder to change in here because you're like, what is going on? And this will apply to everything that's in that text box, so there's a nicety there, but I don't know. The other one's a little more like in your face and you can see it, and this one I find to be a little bit more cumbersome to work with. Basically, you can change text line height, add text shadows, alignment, heading text specifically. So basically all of your H1s to H6s, you can change right here. And again, it has like all the same kind of settings, and then sizing, spacing, borders, all that stuff. Okay. So we'll just hit OK. That looks great. So whenever you make a new element, wherever you add a new module, you usually want to hit on the, well, this will show up anyway, but usually want to hit the options, and then you can see what you have as far as the options are concerned. Okay. I don't know how long we're running right now. Let's see. But this, I think we're going to call that good. So this is basically, actually, let's make sure we hit save over here. Okay, I'm going to hit save. And then I'm going to go back to the Divi site. Oh, hang on a second. I thought I hit save. It's still saving. It's nice, too, because it'll say, hey, you didn't save. So if you didn't save it, it'll let you know. I'm going to wait for this little whirly thing to get done. Okay, now let's exit Visual Builder. I usually do it this way. So you want to enable Visual Builder and then exit Visual Builder. When you exit, it generally looks like what it looks like here when you're in Visual Builder, when you're making the site. But when you exit it, you will know slight differences. I noticed like some major ones with mine. The more that you write like custom stuff, like I'll embed some 3D models and things like that. Sometimes they don't show up right while I'm in the builder, but when I pop back out, they will. So usually I will have the builder, and I also still put the stuff over there. So, yep. All right, and that's what it looks like. That's great. Let's go back to the dashboard here. So I'm just going to click on Divi Theme Site, and I'm going to go to Pages. And I'm just going to quickly change the name of this thing. So we're just going to do Quick Edit, and we'll just call this one Home Page. And I'm going to change the slug to Home Page. So slug is the actual name that shows up on the page. That's what the page is actually called. This title is just what we use. And also what the title will be on the page. So order, blah, blah, blah. We want to publish. That's all good. And we'll hit update. And I'm just going to quickly trash this one. Okay, and we'll trash the sample page. Good, and I'm going to go to settings, and I'm just going to go to reading, and just make sure my home page is my home page. So we'll say static page, and I'm just going to make sure it's home page, and we'll save changes. Okay, and yeah, I feel like we're good to start. So I just wanted to get it installed and just show you what the Divi theme kind of looks like. It probably looks pretty similar to the Elementor stuff, but you can see it's a little more slick than the other one, and there's a lot more settings and options and things like that. So in the next week, what we'll do is we'll start really getting into it, and we'll make like more of a polished thing. I just wanted to get you it installed and that sort of thing. So when you are done, you don't have to save it or anything. That's all good. Just go here, and you're just going to want to right click, and you just want to export. Ignore that. Just hit export site. And I'm just going to save my desktop, and I'll leave it as Divi Theme site export. Should work relatively quickly. Hopefully. Really? It's going to take that long? Okay. So you're just going to export it. This is going to make a zip file. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take that zip file that it exported, and that's where you're going to submit for your assignment. And it should just look like mine. And then if it looks like mine, be like, yay, good, 100%. And then you're good to go. But if it doesn't look like mine, I don't care. If you want to experiment with it, go farther with it. I just want to make sure that you are playing around with it, because today's just kind of about exploration. Next week we'll start to actually work with it. But the best way to learn really is just like, what does this do? And just press a button. So I don't have. If you want to do that, go ahead, go to town. Okay, so just remember that when you are done with the site, you want to hit stop site, and it should stop. Stop it. It'll stop, and then when I would just let it kind of sit there just to make sure that it stopped. Go grab a coffee or something, and then come back, and then you can actually shut it down. I'm actually gonna make sure that I didn't actually mean to click on you. I'm getting worse at clicking on things, so I'm just gonna close out of that. And okay, and then you're just gonna close it out, and then you'll see right here. Come on, minimize. Right here, Divi Theme. So this is what you're going to submit. So just submit that onto the Blackboard, and then you will be good to go. All right. Hopefully that all works out okay. If you run into any issues, just let me know. Good luck, guys.